Iran appears to be tightening its grip over the Strait of Hormuz following what Trump earlier described as a love tap against Tehran. Fresh drama is unfolding in the strategic waterway as Iran releases chilling footage of its latest tanker seizure operation. IRGC naval forces reportedly stormed a US-sanctioned oil tanker accused of transporting Iranian cargo through covert channels. The seizure of the Ocean Koi comes shortly after reports of US naval strikes and escalating maritime tensions in the region. On camera, Iranian commandos were seen carrying out what Tehran described as a special operation aboard the Barbados-flagged tanker. Iran has intensified the Strait of Hormuz standoff after seizing a tanker accused of interfering with the country's oil exports. On May 8, Iranian naval forces reportedly captured the oil tanker Ocean Koi in the Gulf of Oman during a maritime operation. The IRGC alleged that the vessel was transporting Iranian oil cargo intended to be smuggled out through the Strait of Hormuz. The video appeared to show Iranian naval commandos positioned on board the Ocean Koi after the special seizure mission. Iranian naval authorities claimed that the tanker had attempted to damage and disrupt the country's oil export activities. Reports stated that the seized vessel sails under the Barbados flag and had previously been sanctioned by the US Treasury. The Ocean Koi was reportedly placed under sanctions over allegations that it was linked to Iran's so-called shadow fleet. Earlier in February, the US Treasury alleged that the tanker had transported millions of barrels of Iranian fuel oil. On May 7th, American and Iranian forces directly exchanged fire for the first time since the April ceasefire agreement. The United States launched what it called self-defense strikes on Iran as explosions rocked Qeshm Island, Sirik, and Bandar Abbas. Reports claim American forces also targeted an Iranian oil tanker and another Iranian vessel near the strategic Gulf waters. In retaliation, Iran launched attacks targeting American destroyers stationed inside the highly sensitive Strait of Hormuz region. Donald Trump accused Iran of behaving irrationally after military tensions and attacks intensified sharply overnight across the Gulf. President Trump claimed 3 American destroyers safely crossed Hormuz despite reportedly facing Iranian missiles, drones, and hostile threats. Trump warned Washington would respond far more aggressively unless Tehran quickly agreed to a deal with the United States. Despite the clashes, Trump insisted the ceasefire remained active and dismissed the strikes as merely a love tap. Meanwhile, Iran claimed its military inflicted damage on American naval assets and forced US warships to retreat from Hormuz. The latest confrontation unfolded as Tehran reviewed a new American proposal aimed at ending the ongoing conflict.
You say that you are to a deal right now with Iran.
Could happen any day. Could, and it might not happen, but it could happen any day. I believe they want the deal more than I do. We had 3 world-class destroyers go through the strait today. Any other country, under the circumstances, wouldn't have shot missiles at it and drones at it and these stupid boats that came at it. They got blown away in about 2 minutes. Their tanker got blown. You know what we did with the tanker? We didn't want to create an environment, so we shot out the rudder, and the tanker's going around, spinning around in circles. They should not have done that today. We thought they might. We didn't know, but we were prepared. They shot missiles. Every missile was knocked down. Every drone was knocked down, and the people that shot it are no longer with us.
Mr. President, after these strikes, is the ceasefire with Iran still on?
Yeah, it is. They trifled with us today. We blew them away. They trifled. I call that a trifle. I'll let you know when there's no ceasefire. You won't have to know. If there's no ceasefire, you're not going to have to know. You're just going to have to look at one big glow coming out of Iran. And they better sign their agreement fast.
Yes, could you give us an update on what is the latest in those talks?
No, it's going. The talks are going very well, but they have to understand, if it doesn't get signed, they're going to have a lot of pain. They're going to have a lot of pain. They want to sign it, I will tell you. They want to sign it a lot more than I do. I think that's what you want to hear, fellas, right? Or do you want to hear a different tone?
The latest U.S. strikes came as Riyadh reportedly suspended American military access to its bases and restricted airspace amid rising regional tensions. Earlier, the United Arab Emirates claimed Iran launched missile and drone attacks targeting the Fujairah oil port, raising fears over Gulf energy security. Saudi Arabia and Kuwait have lifted previous curbs on U.S. military access to their bases and airspace, easing a major constraint on American operations, according to reports in the Wall Street Journal. This reversal removes a key obstacle for Donald Trump's Hormuz shipping guide initiative, making it technically feasible to use regional airfields, fuel supplies, and command nodes for the operation. U.S. officials told the Wall Street Journal that Washington is now actively considering restarting Project Freedom, examining how to resume the efforts without triggering fresh friction with Gulf partners. Pentagon officials indicated the operation could resume as early as this week, pending coordination with Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and other Gulf allies on flight paths and security arrangements. The operation depends heavily on access to Saudi and Kuwaiti territory, airspace, and military infrastructure, including radar coverage, refueling support, and overland transit corridors. The development comes just days after Riyadh briefly limited cooperation over Project Freedom, marking a sharp but short-lived pullback in the long-standing security relationship. The dispute exposed one of the most serious strains between Washington and Riyadh in recent years, highlighting differing risk tolerances in the evolving Gulf crisis. Riyadh was alarmed by a series of targeted attacks on shipping routes and oil infrastructure in the United Arab Emirates, which raised doubts about the reliability of U.S. protection. Gulf leaders also grew uneasy after U.S. officials described Iran's attacks as low-level harassment, a framing they felt downplayed the real-world economic and security impact. Saudi leadership feared Washington was underestimating the seriousness of the threat, particularly in the context of global energy flows and regional stability. The rising tensions triggered urgent calls between Donald Trump and Mohammed bin Salman, as both sides tried to restore working alignment behind the scenes. Saudi officials said MBS directly informed Trump about restricting U.S. military access to bases and airspace, using the move as leverage to force a pause in the initiative. According to officials, Trump agreed to pause the project after consultations with Gulf leaders and regional mediators, seeking to rebuild trust before resuming the operation. The temporary pause lasted only after Project Freedom had been in operation for about 36 hours, underscoring both the ambition and the fragility of the plan. Washington is now reassessing how to restart the mission in a way that reassures Gulf partners while avoiding steps that could trigger a wider military escalation in the Strait of Hormuz.